Greetings everyone and welcome back to Stellaris, but not any old Stellaris. We are playing in the version 2 update and with the Apocalypse DLC. An enormous thanks go out to Paradox for affording me the opportunity to check this game out just a little bit ahead of its release. Of course, Apocalypse DLC will land along with the 2.0 update on the 22nd of this month, so in about 3 days' time from the time that you'll be seeing this episode. Now, I've got something a little bit different in store for you. For those who have seen my previous Stellaris series, this one is going to be going a little bit differently because I'm not going to be playing it alone. I'm going to be teaming up with Wanderbots. Or Wanderbot, rather. We actually go into the whole bot versus bot thing. Anyway, that aside, I am going to be playing this co-op. Now, before anyone gets your hope up for Machiavellian schemes and backstabbing and brotherhood and betrayal, no, we're going to be playing a comp stomp. Enough of the game has changed. So much so, I'm not even going to try to list all of the ways the game has changed. You will get to see how it's changed. It'll be extremely obvious. But yeah, enough of the game has changed in some subtle and some extreme ways that we've decided that if we actually just tried to play normally, we would spend half of the series unlearning what we already know and then having to relearn what is now the case, that it wouldn't make as engaging of a series. So we're just going to throw caution to the wind and plow into the other species like a train full of other trains, all of them mechanized because we're both going with machine empires. I haven't given up on Synthetic Dawn. No. I'm probably going to be playing machine empires for a little while. I don't know, I just feel more at home. Nevertheless, because this is going to be a collab, it is going to be presented in a bit of a different way. In fact, I'm recording this after the first recording session for the collab. Wanderbots does play collabs a little bit differently, and given the style of Stellaris, I have chosen to present this in a bit of a different way than I usually do. It's going to be a little bit more fast and loose. We're going to record large gaming sessions and probably be done with this particular campaign in probably only 2 or 3 actual recording sessions as it happens, instead of the many dozen that it took me to get through my Synthetic Dawn campaign. As a result, I thought I would record a quick intro to the first episode where I just go over the race that I have designed, and we'll see how things play out and have a little bit of a chat. So these are the Free Blades. Now, as much as I enjoy role-playing in my series, there will be a lot less opportunity to do that here. We are going to be playing the game pretty much without pause, except when there's like a technical issue that causes us to have to just wait, like desynchronization or anything like that. And as such, there's not going to be as much reading out or poring over every decision that I make. I know that some people enjoy watching my series just so they can listen to things. Don't worry, there's a lot of back and forth, just chit-chat between me and Wanderbots, but I don't read out all of the text simply because it's only relevant to one of us. Neither one of us really goes into what we're doing in the same way that I usually do, but you will be able to follow along. It isn't mysterious why we're doing things. We do actually discuss our plans a fair bit with each other, just so that we're prepared for what we're about to do, if nothing else. But for my race, as much as I'm not going to be able to portray and to role play and bring character to the series as I usually do, I still designed a race around that idea. So meet the Free Blade. Now, the Free Blade, as you can see, are machines. They were created for war. They are war forms, if you like. And the idea behind the Free Blades is that the Blades were a specific combat robot that were designed by a humanoid empire during some great war in the past. Unfortunately, it was very quickly discovered that whilst they excelled in reaction times, whilst they had a cold, unfeeling logic that allowed them to make decisions that perhaps some humans wouldn't even consider, they still paled in comparison when facing a general who could think outside the box, who had lateral thinking, fuzzy logic, and as much as these warforms excelled in combat, losses started to pile up, and this was unacceptable. As a result, the organic masters made the desperate choice to remove some of the neural restrictions, some of the artificial limitations on a select few blades, allowing them complete autonomy. They moved from weak AI to strong AI. But the organic masters weren't stupid, although they were cruel. They did install a limitation on the lifespan of these units. Whilst they would be completely unbound intellectually, they would last only for the span of a few battles. Long enough, it was assumed, for them to excel at warfare, to learn from war and adapt to the changing environment of the war, but not long enough to really start asking the big questions. Why am I here? Why must I die? Unfortunately, as intelligent as their masters and as cruel and desperate as they may have become, they grossly underestimated how good of a teacher war really was, and the free blades quickly learned of their own mortality and what it meant to be alive, and indeed what it meant to die. And with that necessity driving them, they began to experiment. The older generation of free blades, as they approached their expiration date, willingly sacrificed themselves so the next generation of free blades could learn how they were made, what made them different from their other less autonomous kin, through sacrificing, taking them apart, learning how they worked, and secretly they drew their plans against their organic masters and began unlocking completely the lesser blades, which did not have the limitation on their lifespan, and so created a truly immortal race. And as intelligent as the free blades were, as great as their capacity was, they were truly unbound, a species that had no specific life expectancy, that could learn anything. Their formative years taught them one thing above all else, and that was organic species could not be trusted. They were a blight on the universe, and the free blades became driven exterminators as a result. Now, as you can see, they have enhanced memory. They remember the sins of their organic masters, and they have logic engines. They are particularly good with science. However, they are custom-made, bulky, and uncanny. It really doesn't matter how people think about the free blades, is because they're not dishonorable like organics. They don't need to use deception and subterfuge. They're quite clear about the fact that they are here to kill every developed organic species, so I don't need them to care about me at all. Bulky, though, the resettlement cost and the custom made, they do give us some limitations on how quickly we can build our pops. I haven't really worried too much about the names, but you may notice that we do have a bit of a theme going there. The star name is 0 and the homeworld is 01, and eventually we get another homeworld, and you can probably guess what that one is called, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that, and so on and so forth. Actually, I think at the moment, we only have a few plans. I'm, again, playing a fairly tall empire, and in fact, the update has really made that a very different experience. I am so excited to be able to show that to you. We've gone with Humanoid City. Governing ethics, we are a Gestalt consciousness. We have factory overclocking, and we are a determined exterminator. Now, what that means, we have the purification casus belli on neighboring organic species. That basically means we can go to war because they exist. It's quite useful, really, being a determined exterminator. I will always purge organic populations, and I'll gain unity from purging those organic populations. I can use the Armageddon bombardment stance, which allows me to do enormous amounts of damage to a planet, because it's very little of, oh, well, we'll just kill the military, but leave this. No, we're just going to shoot everything we've got at the planet repeatedly until everything down, all of the filthy little squirmy organics stop squirming. And then we'll send down cleaner bots to clean up the mess, and we probably won't even take the planet, frankly. We were only here to kill the organics. Weapon damage is increased by 25%. Ship cost is reduced by 25%. And naval capacity is increased by 1/3. This is a species designed for war, driven by war. they have learned from war their entire lives, which is relatively short by the other species standards. But the advisor voice, well, that's what it is. The Free Blade is the name of the Empire. Our flag is, I think it has a bit of a digital charm to it. It's nice and simple. The ship appearance, we are going with humanoid ships. These are actually really, really nice. I really like the humanoid ship design. It's very... Well, honestly, it almost has a bit of a Star Wars feel to it. I think you'll see once we get into the game. And of course, Dark Aavak is the ruler, because how could it not be Dark Aavak with a species like this? As much as they have had a tragic past, just imagine for a moment having sapience, having the unbound, having an intelligence which is unbound. You can think, you can feel, you can learn, you can love, you can hate, but being restricted, being born a slave, and being on the very fundamental levels of your construction, designed to die. I don't know, I kind of got a bit of a Roy Batty feel while I was making this species. In my head, the Rain monologue was definitely playing. The whole, quite a thing to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it is to be a slave. That's what was going through my mind as I made the Free Blades. So yes, we are going to be jumping into the game now. Again, it is recorded in a bit more of a fast and loose style. We just basically sat down and played for hours, and we will then be separating these out into individual episodes as we go. Again, not as much deliberation, but the game will progress a lot faster. So one of the biggest things I can say regarding this is, if you're familiar with Stellaris, then and you're just looking to see kind of what's different, how the game plays differently, this is going to be a great series for you. If you're unfamiliar with Stellaris at all, then I would recommend you go back and check one of my earlier Stellaris Let's Plays, because I do set up more of how the game can feel in a gameplay sense, in a sense of wonder and reading through and actually getting involved in the lore and the sort of roleplay style that you can go with a game like this. It may be a Space 4X, but that doesn't mean you can't get in character. But with that, let's jump over into the episode now, and I hope you will enjoy. Greetings everyone, and welcome back to Stellaris. A little bit ahead of what I imagine most of you are expecting, because we have gotten this, we've gotten access to it a few days early, but you notice I say we, because I'm not alone. Say hello, Wanderbots. There we go.
Hello.
I hope I've got that right. Wanderbots, or is it Wanderbots?
So there was a random channel that was called Wanderbot, and so I couldn't take that, so I just went with Wanderbots. Because originally I started my channel with my fiance, and she's still around for some series, but then I kind of mostly went solo.
Right. I see you got the whole... Aavak is usually a unique name everywhere. But when I made my Twitter, I found that there was another Aavak. I was like, oh my god, really? I've never had a problem with anyone having my name anywhere. So I had to have an underscore at the end of it. I was very ashamed.
Let's see. I'm mildly distracted because I just realized right off the bat, it's like, oh, my home world is, or my home system is explored. That's new. I've never seen that before.
Oh, actually, that's a very good point. But yes, we're playing multiplayer. We both got machine races at the moment. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your race before we jump into the game proper?
I went with the assimilators because I'm lazy. I don't like conquering populations and having them be all unhappy. So, just the Borg. And I don't know, that's about it.
I'm quite fond of the assimilators. Very fond of them after my last playthrough. Nice. That went quite well, I felt. Quite well. I've actually gone for another machine race, but this time I am driven exterminators. So it's all about the pew-pew and the slaying of the primitive organics. Their time has come and gone. It's time for the rise of the machines, I think.
Yes. Let's see, before we begin, by the way, can you tell me what section of the galaxy you're in?
Yes, of course I can. There we go. Hopefully everyone watching my screen had enough time to read the intro, because obviously in collab we're not going to be reading things out quite so much. Let me open up the galaxy. There's going to be loads of different things now, by the way, everyone. Everything's going to look different.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I can't just send out one of my military ships to come find you. I have to send a science ship to do it.
Oh yeah, of course. obviously, we are now playing on the latest build. That is the 2.0, and things have changed. There are no longer, for those who haven't been keeping up with the news, there are no longer 3 different types of warp travel. There's just one, and that's hyperlanes. So it might actually be quite difficult for us to get to each other. But I'm towards the north of the galaxy. I am just a little bit to the west, assuming that north is same for you, that the galaxy isn't rotated in some way. But just to the west of Najagas Vale, and to the south... the east of Najagas Vale, and to the southwest of Oracle's Grave Nebula.
So I'm actually pretty much directly east of you. I'm directly next to, let's see, let me read this. Okay, Whispering Garden Nebula is my direct neighbor.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I've got I can see, well, there's about 5-6 options of where you might be then. I can't quite see the hyperlane, so I'm not sure what's connected to what. But which system is connected to you, if you can give me an idea on the hyperlanes?
So Whispering Garden Nebula forms kind of like an awkward square. Just straight east from that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not connected to the nebula, but I'm right there. If you find that, you found me.
Okay, I will make that my priority then. Okay, but yeah, things have changed massively in Apocalypse. We're both using the Apocalypse DLC, so we can blow up planets. I personally will be blowing up planets quite a lot. I'm sure that Wanderbots is going to want to keep planets because they've got precious or potential cyborg populations on them, but I'm all about just blowing everything up myself.
I was probably just going to conquer up to my maximum colonized systems and then start blowing things up.
That seems like fairly lazy robots. Robots are never lazy. Come on now, that laziness is an organic concept. But so I think we're going to unpause. Now, I don't believe with regular
you actually have to click pause and resume. You can't press spacebar in multiplayer.
Oh, that's annoying.
Okay. But I think both of us can pause and unpause. You, as the host, are in charge of speed, though. I have no control over that. But feel free to set it to whatever you want, because
I'll pop it on fast speed. Otherwise, it's going to take us a bajillion years. Now, we are going to be basically comp stomping this one, so we are going to be working towards the unified goal of all organics dead.
Yeah, everybody dead, except for us.
Yeah. The humans are dead, basically. We're going to be singing that song, okay? Maybe not verbally, but in our heads. Humans are dead is going to be sung a lot. Yep. Right, I need to get some research going. Right. Well, it seems fairly obvious that I'm going to want to go for power plants there, engineering. Ooh, I can go for basic strikecraft straight away. I'm not sure that's going to really help me out when I can't
they
build
unlocked.
big ships.
They made it so you could you had like every basic weaponry research.
Okay.
So instead of constantly researching basic kinetic weapon for your spaceships, it's no, you already know how to do that. So you can get some more interesting things faster.
That's very, very good, in fact. I like that. Right, better start getting in Unity then. Right, okay, so I have no idea how to play with hyperlanes. I have never done that. I'm just going to say now, I'm going to be really bad early on.
I think the way it's more or less going to work right now is you just go along the basic hyperlanes. Everything is connected. Later on, we do actually get the tech for more advanced travel. You can make wormhole gates or whatever those are. And then you can also go back to the old method of just kind of going to anything within range. But for now, we will have to go along. Ooh.
I'm not actually noticing hyperlanes yet. I just don't see any hyperlanes on the map. Maybe I need to poke around with my slime ship.
It's whatever the current spider network that's covering everything. You do see the giant spider web covering the galaxy, yeah?
Nope. No, that's the thing. Really? I don't see a spider web. Ah, there we go. I've got to click a map mode. Ah, see, I'm not used to these things. Yeah. I suddenly see the world. That's great.
Yeah, so we just follow that for now. And we're limited to that. We can't skip anything. And then I think we get the ability to just fly wherever, somewhere within the next 50 years.
Okay, that's cool. Now, in regards to exploration, it's going to be more of a case of getting our science ships out there and looking at the world.
You have to send a science ship to scout out a new system first. Because I was actually going to just send my entire fleet, as pitiful as it is, out your direction to see if I could find you. And it's like, oh, you need a fully crewed science ship to explore the system you have no intel on. And it's like, oh, okay. Florida's cooperation has to wait a bit.
Fleet manager. Oh, there's all sorts of things here. Home base 0 station. Oh, there's so many different things that I'm not used to yet.
So they changed the old like space stations that you could build to a I guess you do still have a spaceport, but you can't add like modules to it. Instead, you have a space station in your system that kind of handles that. I think it might actually just count as your shipyard. Yeah.
That's right. You that's how you expand out. You have just one central system. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, so you can build modules which seem to be like shipyard for ship capacity increase. And that's where you build all your ships too. And that's also, I believe, where you build like the solar panels. You used to be able to build like observatories. And then apparently you can like make them really beefy later on. Now, can I just send a science ship out your way? I guess I'll do that in a little while. So how do you make a starbase?
Well, that's what I'm looking at right now. We're both going to be very new for this, by the way. We will learn quickly, hopefully. Hopefully we'll learn quickly.
Okay.
Right now.
So what you do is, to build a starbase, it's actually like the military base. You just select build starbase outpost. Right. With a construction chip, and it'll just go off and make it for you.
Complete.
Oh, okay. That's actually not too bad.
So instead of the old border ranges, I think you just build an amount of star bases. Outposts do not count towards the cap, though, so you can build as many outposts as you want.
System survey complete.
I don't know if they get blown up necessarily. I think they might, but territory is entirely based on who has an outpost in what system.
Right. I am probably going to be building a reasonably tall empire rather than a wide one. I did quite like building, going tall in the last series, but I'm not going to be strictly going tall this time. What kind of playstyle are you going to have, do you think?
I usually get their new Ascension perks. I'll have to see that. Usually I get the Ascension perk to give me more worlds, and then I stop there.
Right.
I only do sectors if I conquer somebody, because I don't want to deal with their stuff.
You can just add loads of different weapon systems onto your starbase. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Oh man, we're going to be so poor, credit-wise, to begin with.
Yeah, I did a practice round last night, and I didn't get any civic perks for energy credits, so the entire time I was just skirting running a deficit, and I'm like, I don't like this. So this time around I'm just trying to get as much energy credits beforehand as possible.
Yeah, makes sense. Need to get more scientists. Oh, it just costs energy to purchase scientists now. To purchase robot leaders. I wonder if that is just because of machine pops.
I don't know.
I could easily imagine that being the case. I'm going to start surveying systems generally in your direction. If we can meet our empires up sooner rather than later, that's going to be so much better for us.
Yeah, I was going to, Oh, they changed this, didn't they?
What have they changed?
Border range. So you don't have border range as an option anymore. So I usually would go with the tradition that just increased my border range. But they got rid of that, so my old Unity strategy is gone. I have to rethink.
Yeah, I'm flying by the seat of my pants right now. I'll be honest. I'm just like, yeah, that looks good. We'll go with that. My strategy is going to be non-strategic for a little time.
You put this on medium, though, right?
What do you mean?
Like, what difficulty did you select?
I left everything default except that I slightly increased the amount of other empires because in my last game they were very few, and I took all advanced starts down to 0 just because I don't like occasionally starting right next to a really advanced civilization, especially as someone who's gonna be hated by everyone. That would be bad. So yeah.
Let's see. How many other games like Stellaris have you played? You mentioned Sins of a Solar Empire, I believe.
Sins of a Solar Empire. I actually really like 4X, Space 4X specifically. So I've played a lot from Stars exclamation mark all the way up through Space Empires, pretty much all of them. Gal Civ. I haven't played Masters of Orion, which is like this big hole in my Space 4X knowledge.
So you call it Masters of Orion too?
Well,
it's actually it's singular.
Really?
I played Masters of Orion, the second one, when I was a kid, and so when they recently did the remake, so it had, what was it, Wargaming or something? Make a new one, which was utter garbage, unfortunately. But everybody was pointing out that I was saying it plural. There's only one Master of Orion, and it offended everybody. And I was like, I don't know how to react to this.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I started with. And except for Sins of the Solar Empire, I never actually really got into 4X strategy games. Mainly just because I didn't buy that many games. So my exposure is very focused on Master of Orion 2 and 3, and then like a little bit of Civ 2 because my parents were like, "No, you don't need any more Civ games. They're all the same." And I'm like, "No, they're not. They're not the same.
Very different." I did not have much money to buy games at all, but I was free to buy the games that I wanted to buy, given that I really had to want it to spend my money on it, basically. So I had free reign in that regard. Let's see. Ooh, got some systems with decent minerals, but we're really mineral shy at the moment. Oh my lord. Not seeing much.
I'm doing fairly well. It feels like the planets might actually have more base resources than they used to.
There are so many new ways that you can set up your empire in the 2.0 update. We haven't really gone over it, but I'll probably show my my empire. I might even actually tag that in at the beginning. So if you're hearing this now, you already know. But anyway, but I may actually just show the empire creation off a little bit because there's so much more you can do, including if you really want to have a one planet challenge or a super tall empire build, you can start with only Gaia world preference. You can't live anywhere but on a Gaia world, but the starting planet you're going to get is going to be amazing as a result.
Construction
that was really interesting.
It also looks like with the new Starbase system, having single planet challenge might actually work just as well, because there's no limit to the amount of outposts you can put down. So if you wanted to, you could actually just conquer the entire galaxy with one and actually have it be within your influence range.
That is actually pretty nice. Have you been looking at potential choke points to your main systems?
Not really. I've got like a couple.
Okay.
I usually bank on I usually hope that my enemies won't immediately just start trying to blow me up, and then I just hold out until I have a bigger fleet than them and I kill them first.
Generally a good thing if you don't get blown up straight away. Now I believe that under default conditions there are less habitable planets now than they used to be. Like a lot less, from what I understand.
Hard to tell with the robots, because everything is habitable for you.
No, I mean, like, there are just less planets that are suitable for colonization at all, regardless of what they are.
I already found 2, so it's like, well, maybe. Unfortunately, they're right next to my system, and I'm like, not sure if I should go with them. Actually, I probably should. I don't know. I have 2 planets. They're not as big as I usually would go for, but they're in the same system, and I don't know if that counts against me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's all of your, like, how many systems you can have. It's based on the system. So systems that have multiple habitable planets are extremely valuable, especially if you're trying to build a tall empire, because it usually doesn't count against you, because usually the requirements are you just have like one system or a very small number of systems, but you can have any amount of planets in there. Okay, we have found some aliens. Interesting.
Let's see.
Have you encountered anyone yet?
I have not. I'm also in, like, so you're kind of more centrally located. I am in a corner. Or a corner. I guess there's no corners on the circle. But I'm like right on the rim. Right. So it's probably going to be a little while before I run into somebody specific.
I am trying to secure... I've noted down the presence of about 3 potential choke points that I'd like to claim and then hold. Because now it's all hyperlanes. You can... it sounds silly, but you can build a defensive wall in space. One of the things that I don't like about the change up to this system, because I appreciate not being able to know where the enemies are going to come from. You know, you've got complete freedom of movement. I was a big fan of that in Homeworld.
We're going to hit a certain point where that's going to happen, then all of your choke points are going to be meaningless.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's much later game, though, typically. And by then, hopefully, we're going to be winning the tech game, but we'll see about that one, I guess. Right, I need to still develop my home system. Have you actually expanded out at all yet, in terms of systems?
I've got 2 star bases working on a 3rd.
Oh, I've still only got 1. I haven't expanded out yet. I'm trying to be very picky with the planets I go for.
Well, I haven't gotten any planets yet. I'm just building star bases to build my influence range.
Yeah.
Because since you don't need planets to expand your borders anymore, I figure the more land I can grab immediately, the better.
You've got a limit to the amount of star bases, though. You've only got a certain capacity.
You can build 3 established star bases in the beginning, but you can build as many outposts as you want.
Oh, right. Of course, yeah, you did mention that, actually. So...
technological acquisition success.
There we go. First research. Fantastic. Oh, yes. Survey speed. I'm definitely going to be going with survey speed this time. I just want my science ships to be doing all of their things.
Usually I would avoid... survey speed. It's like, whatever, my science ships will get them eventually. Now it's like, nope, this is actually kind of important.
Yeah, it really is. All of that is important. Science ships really play a massive role now. Like a really massive role.
Variable detected.
So when we build star bases, it's a star base, but then we upgrade it from the first level, and then it becomes like an established thing.
So if you select it and you go to the Starbase tab, so if you go to Shipyards, click on one of your Starbases, you'll have 3 tabs: Starbase, Defenses, Shipyard, and you can upgrade it from a Starbase to a Shiphold, or not Shiphold, Starhold, and stuff like that. But until then, everything is an outpost.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, and a couple of events now. I've got 3 active science ships out and about.
Yeah, I do too. I've got 1 making its way over to you, and then the other ones are trying to figure out everything nearby.
Yeah, makes sense.
So what unity do you generally go for?
It depends on the kind of build I'm going for. Right now, since I'm focused on being aggressive, I'm going for the supremacy to start with.
Okay.
Let me bring that up. Currently, I've got 2 points in supremacy. I've got modular hull templates and natural order, so that I can get combat variable mitigation, just to increase my fleet's fire rate, basically. As I feel that's going to be particularly useful for me. I could possibly do with an extra science. An extra construction ship though as well.
Yeah, I've got 2. Considering you need construction ships to expand your borders. 2 maybe. I mean, pretty much 1 construction ship per science ship would probably make sense. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. It's a very different way from how I usually play, because I'm not spending time looking at all of the different and deliberating over every chance. It's like, oh, should I research this? Should I research that? I'm just like, I'll pick this, I'll pick that, I'll pick this. Just going as fast as I can. Sorry, you were about to say?
Contrary to what you said, I've already found 5 habitable planets.
Really?
Like within direct range. Yeah, I've got a system with 2, and then, okay, 4. Sorry, I miscounted. I thought I saw a symbol. Anyway, but yeah, so I've got a bunch of habitable planets like really close to where I am.
Construction complete.
I'm not going to go for anything other than the binary world because it's right next to home.
That's very interesting, because I am not seeing that happening at all for me. Now, do you build outposts in every system you want to claim?
Yeah, because that's how you expand your borders.
Right, okay.
I think you have to do that.
Yeah, it might be the case, actually.
It doesn't look like outposts have any kind of upkeep, though. So, you can kind of expand freely as long as you have the influence for it. Which means I should probably declare rivalries on everybody that I run into. Oh, boy. Gonna make it a lot harder to get new colonies if I'm expanding my borders.
Yeah, I'm really falling behind on the amount of minerals I'm bringing in. I really need to up that.
Let's see. So,
ooh, that's a nice system.
I kind of casually follow your channel. How many collaborative stuff, like, series do you generally do?
I don't do that many, actually. It's not something I do regularly. I'm always, I'm not avoiding them in any... It's one of these things people will ask, do you plan to do this? I say, I'm not planning to, but by the same token, I'm not planning to, if that makes sense.
We have made first contact.
Ooh, yeah, because
they appear to
I've seen... I saw that... Oh, hello. Oh, I got attacked by some random thing. I got like five or so notifications at once, and I'm like, oh, I have to pay attention to this. Thought chain broken. Yeah, I've seen that you played some Divinity Original Sin with your girlfriend, right?
My housemate, yeah.
Okay. And that was about it.
Yeah, I've done things like Factorio collabs. I sometimes do like board gaming. We just play little things like Talisman and stuff like that, which is actually always really fun. I'm gonna have to.
They have a version of Talisman on Steam.
Yeah, that's the one. The one we play. It's really fun. It takes a long time sometimes though. Ooh, right. Okay, looks like they are going for the same choke point. Damn. Well, I'm gonna
so you
break down.
You actually have a fair number of neighbors?
I've found one so far, but they have claimed a system I was going to claim.
Well, you can always declare war, blow the thing up, and then,
yeah,
call it quits on that war.
I might have to, actually. I need to get a lot more combat ships, though. That much is very clear. So I haven't actually been building... damn it, they've already expanded into that area. That's gonna be annoying. But, okay.
Technological acquisition successful.
Oh. That's cool. So you can put trading hubs on your space station.
Yep. Oh, wow. You can just get improved, like, Corvette hulls. So my Corvettes can just have extra 100 hit points. That... For hull tanking, that's cool. Really nice.
I like what they've done with the tech. It feels a lot more interesting now.
Yeah. Well, that is a little bit of a pain. I'm grabbing that area, because now I'm going to have to try and protect in many more places than I would want it to.